And welcome to this Brampton Focus webisode. Our topic today is autism. Now, each individual with autism is very unique. You know, many individuals on the autism spectrum have really exceptional abilities. Exceptional abilities in visual skills, music, academic skills. They say about 40% of them have above average intellectual abilities, which is a very good point. Indeed, many of the persons on the autism spectrum deserve pride in their distinctive abilities and atypical ways of viewing the world. Others, although, with the autism spectrum have significant disabilities, and some of them are unable to live independently. About 25% of individuals with autism are nonverbal, but can learn to communicate using other means. Our focus today is about autism, and we've introduced, or welcomed, I should say, the Ontario Autism Coalition to join us here today. On my far right is the Vice President of the Ontario Autism Coalition, Ms. Laura McIntosh, and right beside me is Ms. Melly Polypayan, who is a supermom and a nurse. Ladies, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. You know, as of late, there's been a lot of things in the press, specifically about autism, and actually involving you, Melanie. But I want to go to you first, Laura. Give our folks at home in Brampton a little bit of perspective of what went on as of late regarding autism and a little interaction that took place.
Okay, well, an announcement came down just a couple of days before World Autism Day that the Government of Ontario was investing $333 million of new money in autism. And that sounded like great news. At first, our community was very excited. Then we found out how the funding was going to be implemented. And the focus from the government's perspective was they wanted to reduce wait times. And the wait list has been growing under their watch for the last 10 years. The more money they throw at it, the more the wait list just keeps going up and up and up and up. And so their solution was they were going to say that IBI therapy, which is intensive ABA therapy funded by the government in Ontario, was going to be limited.
What's ABA therapy?
ABA is the only scientifically valid treatment for children with autism.
Right. Okay.
And it involves breaking things down into tasks. It's how our kids learn.
Yes.
And that's been available and funded by the government for kids with a diagnosis with autism with no age limit since about 2006.
Right.
And the government announced that based on the advice of a so-called expert panel, that the evidence suggests that the therapy is more effective when kids are younger, and we know that's true. But their solution to the wait list was they were going to cut kids off on their 5th birthday.
So what happens to kids who are on the wait list or anybody who's older than 5?
That's a great question, and we don't know the answer to that. The government says that they will be reassessed in 6 months and then transitioned to appropriate services. But what we're hearing on the ground from our members is that they're being transitioned into nothing or into a much less intensive read, like maybe only 2 hours a week.
So before this announcement came through, what was the protocol for dealing with the spectrum of autism? Was there any channels of saying you have to be a certain age, or?
Well, there's some history here. When the program was first introduced, I think the intent was to offer therapy to kids up to the age of 6 in the hopes that then when they transferred to school, that the school system would look after them.
Right.
And the
handoff.
Yeah. And so there was an age 6 cutoff back in the late 1990s, early 2000s. The families of kids with autism took the government to court over that. They won at trial but lost on appeal. But the OAC was born at around that time, the Ontario Autism Coalition, and we advocated loudly in the court of public opinion and pushed the government to a point where ultimately they decided that although they had won the point in court, they weren't going to enforce the age 6 cutoff.
But with this funding coming, I mean, we've heard 2 different reports coming. I mean, here at Brampton Folks, we had the opportunity to speak to Andrea Horwath and also Patrick Brown, and they both expressed their concern for the reduction of funding for autism. You're telling us it's $300,000.
Sorry, no, the new amount of money was $333 million. But our concern is not that, like, that's a staggering amount of money, but the way they're planning on implementing it, first by cutting kids off and then by investing in this other inferior, less intensive treatment that has no scientific basis
So who
to back it
decided
up.
that? You're vice president of the Autism Coalition. Obviously, you've done your research. You have mothers with you. You
Fathers
have a group,
too.
right? So how is it that the government can make a decision like that without consulting someone who's at the forefront?
That's a great idea. You'd have to ask the premier or the minister. I'm also staggered at how they could announce such a policy without considering the implementation. We're talking to them about something called direct funding. We believe the way they're flowing the money right now is ineffective, bureaucratic, and wasteful. And
How is it being funneled now?
Right now, there are 9 regional programs across the province that process the autism money, and they both collect the money and they decide how it's distributed. They run autism programs themselves, but then there's also independent IBI providers out in the community. And what the regional programs have been doing for years is ignoring ministry directives, keeping money to themselves, running up enormous bureaucratic costs for positions like waitlist coordinators instead of actually flowing that money out to kids. What we want to do is see that money come directly to families, have them put together a proposal of this is how we'd like to spend it, get it approved by the ministry, and then go purchase the services
But isn't service
themselves.
providers an important aspect of that? And some would say that any amount of government money has to have some level of bureaucratic oversight, otherwise you go.
Absolutely, but if you look at other programs like Special Services at Home or ODSP or Passport funding, all of those work on a direct funding model. So it's unclear to us why they wouldn't consider a direct funding model here. So we've been talking to them. We met with the Premier last Tuesday on this issue. She's hearing us. We'll find out soon whether she's listening.
So I want to talk to an actual mom. I mean, you have a child on the autism spectrum. What is life like for you now?
Having a kid with autism, having a kid in a spectrum disorder is an everyday struggle. She knows about it. You have to have a million times patient, like nonstop, like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it doesn't stop.
So when you hear of this new legislation that is going to suggest that children will be cut off after the age of 5, how will that impact you in your life?
Great question. It devastated. I feel devastated. It's like crashing news. That is like my hope of lifting Xavier from the spectrum or helping him to push through our tribe for his future.
So what do you have to do now to get services? Where do you have to go?
Maybe it includes to selling my house.
So you have to pay for your own services. You know, it's interesting when people complain about the wait times for OHIP and Ontario Medical Assistance, and here you are, a mom with a child with autism, and you're seeking care, and there doesn't seem to be any services available to you. And then we hear $300 million is being invested in the system. There's a disconnect there.
Michael, I've seen a lot of potential with Xavier. I know he can thrive. He can thrive. I'm not gonna let anybody to stop that. I will do everything in my strength, in Jesus' name, to do everything to help him. Maybe even it includes selling my house, doing double jobs. It means like no more quality time for Xavier. It's me, my husband, and Xavier only.
Now,
so I work night shifts.
Yep.
So it means no more quality time, double jobs, and it's just a struggle, another struggle in our life and family.
So people complain about the high cost of daycare. Can you imagine the high cost of treatment on top of that? I mean, there is the one shining light about the autistic spectrum is there is the ability to learn. There is the ability to improve.
Every child can learn.
Oh, yeah.
Well, even an autistic child can gain a level of interactiveness and societal interaction, but there needs to be that path that leads us to it. What do we need to do, Melanie, to help you? What does the government need to, and you and many other mothers like you?
Just give us back the IBI. Listen to listen to the people like us, ASD parents. Listen to us because we are the ones experiencing it. Like sometimes I even told myself, sometimes I feel like on the top of the tip of the edge of the cliff. When I look down, it's shallow, it's dark. So I'm asking the government, especially Premier, don't push us. Don't push us for this in this very dark cliff. I'm just asking and I'm begging.
You know, Laura, when you hear Melanie's voice, you can feel the emotion. You can feel the raw sense of need and want to help her child. You have 2 children on the autism spectrum as well. In conclusion, how would you sum this up for our folks watching? What can we do and what do we need to accomplish here within our government to improve the situation?
Well, I think the first thing that your viewers can do is contact their local MPP and express their concerns. The second is to really pay attention to the details. Don't fall for it. Just because the government announces new funding and a big number doesn't mean that the problem is solved. The devil, as they say, is in the details. And the other thing I'd encourage your viewers to do is, if you know a family of that's living with autism, don't walk away from them. It's isolating. Go over, bring a casserole, bring some tea, offer to just hang out and sit with them. Pitch in, because so many of us find that our friends and family walk away because it's difficult and they don't know what to do. And the answer to what to do is just, like anything, just be there.
Small thing. June 6th, what's happening June 6th?
June 6th, we are rallying outside Queen's Park. This will be our 2nd time this year. I've lost track of how many times we've done this since 2005. But between 12 and noon, we'll be gathering outside the provincial legislature, getting our voices heard, telling the government that we're not going to stop until they get the details right and they look at the implementation and they allow treatment for individuals with autism based on clinical need, not on a birthday.
Autism, it's a topic that concerns us all, the Ontario Autism Coalition. Thank you to the Vice President, Laura McIntosh.
Pleasure.
And to Melanie Polempoli. Thank you so much for being here. Wish you all the best of luck with Xavier. And hope that the dissemination of this webisode and the demonstration June 6th and your heart and understanding about autism will make a difference. My name is Michael A. Charbon. You just watched a webisode from Brampton Focus. If you have a community group or an occasion which you believe merits attention, please take reference to bramptonfocus.ca, and we'd be more than happy to speak to you. Again, my name is Michael A. Charbon. A pleasure to be here. Look forward to speaking to you again. Thank you.